terrible advice you have to avoid when building business credit. Hey, Ty Crandall here with Credit Suite, and I spent 20 years of my life helping business owners get credit and financing. And along the way, I've seen a lot of overnight gurus come into the space and give some of the worst advice I've ever heard. As a matter of fact, if you take this advice, you'll oftentimes add years to the business credit building process, or even worse, you'll halt the business credit building process altogether. So during this training, we're going to talk about this terrible advice. We're going to talk about what you need to avoid and the right information you need to know to be able to condense years of business credit building to only months. Plus, at the end of this training, I'm even going to get you access to a shortcut guide that will help you exponentially get better results and get them faster. We got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. The first terrible piece of advice is that you don't even need to have a business credit profile and score. Look, business credit is as important to your business getting money as your personal credit is to you getting money as an individual. If you don't have any personal credit established or bad personal credit, it's really tough to get the credit and financing you need as an individual. Same applies for your business. If you don't have business credit established, or if it's bad, it makes it really difficult for your business to get the money it needs to grow. All kinds of financing uses business credit quality to determine if you should be approved, how much you should be approved for, and the rates and terms you'll pay. Cash flow financing, where you can get money quickly and easily for your business, takes into account business credit quality. Term loans that give you longer terms and lower interest rates, where you can get more money that have cheaper payments. SBA loans, corporate credit cards, gas cards, auto financing, all of this can be obtained in a lot of cases without personal guarantees, without personal credit checks, just because you have business credit built. And in other cases, even with a guarantee needed, you can still get maximum money with good terms just because you have your business credit established. But when you don't have business credit established, it's an uphill battle to get the credit and financing you need, because you're not giving lenders and credit issuers any history to look at of how your business pays its bills. If you want to get away from personal guarantees, and if you want to give yourself the chance to getting the most money at the best terms, you absolutely have to establish your business credit profile and score. Another terrible piece of advice that I hear is that you don't even need a business. Look, we're in a world where the gig economy is blowing up. There's more freelancers now than there ever has been before. And a lot of times, if you want to become a freelancer, maybe you already are, if you want to take advantage of the gig economy, you need to still have a business. Look, you can be a real estate agent and work for a brokerage without setting up a separate entity. But a lot of agents in that space are also discovering that they can set up their own entity and get a lot of benefits as a result. Not only does it help separate some liability and give you more credibility as well, but it can also set you up to get credit and financing. Having your own entity, setting it up where it's fundable, is crucial to being able to get money to then fund that endeavor. So it doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent or a freelancer or taking advantage of the gig economy or anywhere else where you might not actually need an entity set up. Just by setting up the entity, by setting up the actual business, sets you up to get all kinds of credit financing, including business credit. Another terrible piece of advice that I hear is to just go apply for business credit cards. That's one of the worst things you could do for many different reasons. First of all, a lot of different sources offer a lot of different cards, such as Chase or Bank of America, and you need to know the difference between these cards. Some require a personal guarantee where you're personally liable for that debt. Others you can build a business credit profile and score for and get without a personal guarantee, even without a personal credit check. Some have points and rewards that are more powerful than others. Some have points and rewards in sectors or different places like travel that you're probably going to have a greater interest in having. Some cards have no 0% intro rates. Some have 0% for up to 18 months. There's even programs like Credit Line Hybrid where you can get 0% financing, get multiple credit cards and lines and stack them at the same time, get upwards of 30, 50, 100, 150,000 in funding, and you can even take the cash out and take the cash out at 0%. Plus, some of these programs like Credit Line Hybrid, you're even able to get into and build business credit at the same time, because the credit cards you're getting are reporting to the business credit reporting agencies. There's so many options. There's so many variables of the type of credit cards that you may get. And you really want to know exactly the path to getting the right kind of cards to get away from personal guarantees, to get away from personal credit checks, and to get credit cards that actually are based on your business funding itself instead of it needing you to come in as a guarantor or a signer, or even worse, get cards that don't give you the points, the rewards, the 0% rates that you really want to have that make it easier to grow your business. So don't go out and just start applying for business credit cards. As a matter of fact, at the end of this training, I'm going to get you access to a resource that makes it easier to be able to quickly get business credit cards without the guarantee, without the credit check, that will also help your business fund itself. Another piece of terrible advice I hear is to get as many accounts as you can as fast as you can. That's the worst thing you want to do. Look, the credit bureaus, lenders, and credit issuers quickly can look at a business credit report and see what you're doing. They can see that you got a lot of credit in a short period of time. They can see that you're minimally even using that credit. And then as a result, they don't want to give you more credit. They don't want to give you financing. They don't want to give you high limits on the credit and financing that you actually may be issued. As a matter of fact, the business credit reporting agencies, including D&B, Equifax, and Expedite, all have recommendations of credit right on the business credit reports. And lenders and credit issuers look at these credit limit recommendations to determine how much money you should be given. So if you want to get the maximum amount of funding, then you need to understand how this works so the credit bureaus see a credit profile and score they want to see and then recommend you for higher amounts of credit. And that doesn't happen because you're applying for mass amounts of credit in a short period of time. It happens because you're actually getting credit that you're really going to use to grow your business. You're getting credit, you're applying, you're getting approved, then you're using the credit. And the credit bureaus reflect on their reports the highest amount of credit you've used. Then lenders and credit issuers see that not only have you been issued with credit, but you're actually using this credit. And in doing so, they want to give you access to more money with higher limits. This is the key to getting high limit accounts very quickly. It's not about getting a lot of accounts very fast. It's about getting accounts you're really going to use and then using them to grow your business. Once lenders and credit issuers see that, they want to give you more money and they want to give you higher limits as well. Another terrible piece of advice that I hear is that you don't need to use credit cards to pay a lot of the normal things in your business, such as advertising or marketing. That's very true. We spend over $1 million a year in Facebook and Google ads alone, but here's the key. We use our credit card to actually buy for those ads. That doesn't mean that we don't have the cash to pay for them. We could, maybe just like you, take the money from our bank account to pay Facebook and Google for those ads, but we don't, and here's why. Because by using a business credit card to actually pay for those, and a credit card that reports to the business credit reporting agencies, the credit bureau reporting agencies, lenders, credit issuers, everybody that's accessing those business credit reports sees that we're spending that $1 million+ dollars. And when they see that, they want to give us more credit. They want to give us loans. They want to give us credit lines because they know we're going to use the credit cards, loans, and credit lines. And they also know that we actually will pay them back. That establishes a history that helps make us more bankable. It helps make us more lendable. But if you're using just a debit card or you're writing checks to pay for a lot of the same expenses, well, then you're not creating a history that lenders and credit issuers can look at. They oftentimes might not even know that you're spending that large amount of money on marketing, advertising. It's not working toward your favor and helping you become more bankable to open up the doors to getting even more credit and financing in the future. So the key is that you really want to use credit cards to pay for as many things as you can, even if you pay those credit cards off before interest accrues. And more importantly, you want to do this with business credit cards that report to the business credit reporting agencies because it helps you further establish your business credit, shows lenders and credit issuers that you're spending that money, and opens up the door for lenders and credit issuers to want to give you higher approval amounts and approve you for more credit lines, more loans, and more business credit cards. Another terrible piece of advice that I hear is that you have to provide a personal guarantee on credit and financing. Well, that is somewhat true. Look, there's a lot of financing out there like SBA loans and term loans that may always require that you have a personal guarantee until your business gets to multiple 8 or even 9-figure levels. But there's also a lot of other credit financing that doesn't require a personal guarantee. So for example, if you're willing to pledge some kind of asset as collateral, there's all kinds of asset or collateral-based funding that you can get without a personal guarantee. So if you have stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, even equipment or inventory in a lot of cases, you can get all kinds of financing without providing a personal guarantee. Plus, you can build your business credit profile and score following the right steps and do it fairly quickly and get all kinds of revolving credit cards, again, without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. You can get started with small starter vendor accounts like Grainger and Uline. You can then grow to getting credit with almost every major retailer, including Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy, and many, many, many others. You can grow your business credit to get bank credit cards that are Visa, MasterCard, even auto financing, all without a personal guarantee and credit check. So you want to make sure that you get as much credit financing as you can without the personal guarantee. That way you can save your personal guarantees for other kind of financing where it may really be needed, like the coveted SBA loans. Another piece of terrible advice I hear is that you can actually do this all on your own. Absolutely you can. Look, you can fix your own electrical problems, you can fix your own plumbing, but the reality is no matter what it is in this world you take on, if you're relying on experts that have done it thousands or tens of thousands of times, you're almost always going to get better results and get them faster. And that's the same with business credit building. Look, if you're listening to an overnight guru who's had some success with their own personal credit, I promise you their experience is not going to be the same as what your experience will be. But if you work with somebody that's worked with thousands or even tens of thousands of borrowers and entrepreneurs to help them through this process, well then you're going to take years of business credit building and condense it to only months. You're going to get significantly better results, which means more approvals and higher limits and better terms. And that's the key to getting you the money you need at the best terms to be able to grow your business even faster. So what do you do now? If you want to avoid all this terrible advice, well, then get access to our free resources. If you click the link in our bio, we have free resources that will help you through the process, condensing years of credit building to only months. It would help you get past all this terrible advice and get the shortcuts to have better success and have it even faster. So make sure you check the link in our bio. And by the way, if you got value from this training, make sure you like and subscribe and keep your eye out for our next training where we talk about more cool ways to get the money you need to start and grow your business.